Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Before I go into this video in depth, I just want to say that this is just a random sort of non-Doctor Who related video for once. That was a joke, by the way. But it is something that is kind of controversial, I guess, in nerdy kind of pop culture, I guess. And before I fully go into it, I will definitely have to say that just because I prefer one over the other does not mean that I think they are, but the other one that I don't prefer as much is absolute crap, and that I'm just a fanboy of the other. You know, I hate that when there's, two things in a TV show or anything or whatever, I prefer, I don't know, Battlefield over Call of Duty or something, say that for example, people will automatically, who are Call of Duty fans, automatically say, oh, you're a fanboy, oh my god, you're a faggot, and it's like, well, no, I just prefer something other than what you like. That doesn't mean that I'm a faggot or a hater of what you like. I just don't like it, I'm not hating on it, I just prefer something else, and as people we're allowed to have that opinion, and I would like to think that I am allowed to express that. Anyway, without further ado, what I'm on about is a DC universe versus Marvel universe. Now, already I can hear the universe, or the multiverse even, destroying before me, rage of fans, and whatnot. And I personally prefer Marvel. I'm not going to say that DC's absolute crap, because that would be a lie. I just think that I prefer Marvel personally because it's more light-hearted, it's more accessible to the masses, and it's more accessible, but it can still be more in-depth, if that makes any sense. So it's like, the films are accessible, but if people really thoroughly enjoyed, say, the Thor film or the Iron Man film or whatnot, they can then delve into that universe, So the films are a stepping stone towards the right direction, whereas I feel like DC is more like a niche audience, and it might be less, it might be more than Marvel, I don't know, but I mean, I'd say there's probably maybe more Marvel fans, but not hardcore Marvel fans, so they're just fans, or they just like the films and know some of the heroes and superheroes because of the films, and they have never read any of the comic books, whereas most of the people who like DC will have seen or read the comic books and seen the films and the animated series and whatnot, and are devoted hardcore fans, but Marvel might have more fans, because again, it's more accessible, it's more like socially acceptable to like Marvel over DC, I think. Not that it's wrong to like DC, far from it, but as a teenager you might be more ridiculed maybe if you like, I don't know, Aquaman and Green Arrow and Wonder Woman and The Flash over say Iron Man, Spider-Man or Captain America or whatnot. Both are just phenomenal, and I think most people, I'm not saying everyone should, but I'd like to think that instead of just being for one and then hating everyone who's on the Marvel side, or loving Marvel and hating everyone on DC side, why not just do what I do and just have a mixture of both, best of both worlds, Yes, there's things that I don't particularly like about one or the other, I don't particularly like, I don't know, Aquaman that much, I've not really read any of his comic books or anything like that, so I don't really know that, but, from first impression, I would say that I don't like him, but, and there's people in the, Marvel universe I don't particularly like, I don't know, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but, and that, and I think the reason why, DC has its own sort of audience is because it's more specifically darker, so it's like, only, sort of a certain audience will like that, or a market will like that, and it's got its own, like, niche market. Like, it's not, like, not everyone can like it is what I'm trying to say, whereas I'm not saying that everyone will like Marvel, but, I'm just saying that more people will because it's easier to understand, or there's more likable characters or whatnot. You know, the superheroes, for example, you know, Captain America and Iron Man and Thor are more clean-cut bad guys. My God, good guys. I can't believe I just said that. Good guys. Than say Batman or you know, and some other anti kind of heroes. You know, in the DC universe, they're more like you know, more darker sort of and that. And some people might question that sort of that sort of thing. You know, is it right for that superhero with that all that power to be able to punish, say the Joker or whatnot, physically, there's boundaries to what he can do as a superhero, and he shouldn't be doling out justice in a violent way, and whatnot. Whereas, the superheroes in Marvel don't do it as violently, say Spider-Man or Captain America or whatnot, But I still think there is that depth, Spider-Man has a lot of adversaries, they're more lighter in the films. For example, the Green Goblin is a lot more sort of less darker, or at least in the original kind of film, not the new Amazing Spider-Man film. But even so, he's darker in that, but he's still probably even more darker in the comic books as well. That's because they can get away with more in that media as well, and that. So, and whatnot. Because kids aren't, well, some kids might be reading comic books, but less likely to be reading the comic books than, say, watching the films, and whatnot. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I prefer Marvel, but again, I don't think that either is bad or worse, than the other. I just think, personal preference, basically, one of my friends really likes DC. Well, yeah, that's because he might like it because it's more darker and more serious and more gritty, and the universe might be more, have more of a plethora of things to offer. Whereas I prefer Marvel because it's easier access. I feel more connected to the universe. And that because it's easier to understand. It's more, it's more, I don't know, vibrant and energetic in sort of atmosphere, whereas the sort of DC universe is more gritty and kind of sort of nitty gritty and kind of sort of photorealism, sort of kind of thing. I don't know. It's rather complex as well with many multiverses, but I feel like maybe there might be some in, Marvel universe that are not many that I've come across, at least from reading comic books. Maybe kind of a few, actually. But I think the Marvel universe might explain it better than, say, the DC universe. But that's just down to personal preference, I might understand some, and just because I understand it don't mean that everyone else who reads the Marvel comics should understand the way that the writers have explained how, I don't know, there can be two Mr. Fantastics in one parallel dimension, and whatnot. So, yeah, this has been my Marvel versus DC sort of video. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you comment, rate, and subscribe.